Award, a soundbite on the benefits of practice that has been beaten to death. All are part of Allen Iverson's Philadelphia 76er resume. Since he was drafted first overall by the Sixers in 1996, he has been as identified with his team as any player in the league. But now on his third coach in less than 1 year, with frustrations about this difficult season never too far from the surface, it isn't too hard to imagine Iverson someplace else. Jim Gray sat down with Allen Iverson for the Sunday Conversation.
And here comes Allen Iverson.
How would you like to be coached?
How would I like to be coached? I'd like to be coached like I was coached with Coach Brown, like I was coached with Coach Thompson. You know, I would like someone to just let me play basketball, let me be free out there, not play like a robot. You know, but I need somebody on my. I need somebody that's gonna bring the best out of me, that's gonna get on me when I do wrong. You know, without that, I would never get any better.
Is it simply a case now, Allen, where you don't know how good you have it till you don't have it anymore? And is that the case with Coach Brown and you?
Gotta be the case.
So do you wish now, in retrospect, that you'd have done more to figure out a relationship where both of you could have coexisted?
No, because I'm human, you know, and I kind of went with the flow. I was learning, and I'm still learning. I don't get on myself for that situation. I always look at it like, you know, it was time for Coach to move on, and it's time for me to move on. And, you know, hopefully his situation is better than it was here. Hopefully he's happy than he was when he was here. And the same thing for me. You know, I just wish him well, you know, but I know I lost something great, you know, but I don't have any problem playing with Chris Ford. No problem at all. I don't have no problem at all. I can go out there and do the same thing I did for did for Coach Brown, for Coach Ford. I mean, the same exact thing. I play the same way. I play hard, and I respect him as a coach.
Was there a problem initially? Because when he fined you after the All-Star game, you said you resented the fact that you'd been here busting your butt for 8 years, and this guy's been here one game, and he did that to you.
I didn't like what he did. I had a problem with it, and I voiced my opinion about the thing. You know, I mean, we started off with, you know, I'm giving you a reason, you know, why I didn't show up, and you know, you didn't take it that way. You know, you didn't accept it. So that's the way our relationship started off. But I mean, that's just the way it went. I mean, it happened, and it's done with. I mean, we got to move on. We're trying to make playoffs. I'm trying to get healthy, and that's all I'm concentrating on, Jim. That's it. That's all I want is something positive to come out of all this, and it can.
Allen, how difficult is it to call your boss if you don't want to go to practice or you don't show up for a game like last Sunday? People at home all have bosses, and if they can't go to work, they get in contact with the person they're told to get in contact with.
You're right. You're right. And I mean, that was something that I really could avoid it, you know. But I didn't even think of it that way. I was just thinking about getting in contact with our doctor and our trainer. You know, I was at home throwing up blood, so that's the first thing that I could think of. Let's get in contact with the doctor. I spoke to the doctor. I thought I did everything that it took for me to be excused, but obviously it wasn't enough, you know. And I can respect him wanting me to call him and deal with him, you know. And you know, it's something that I learned from. It's something I have to move on. I accept what happened to me, and that's that.
Do you practice hard, and do you participate in as many practices as you should?
I practice hard, and I practice hard because you know, I try to get a lot out of my teammates. I try to make sure they get a lot out of me going right back at them. I would be lying to you if I was to say I come in after back-to-back and practice hard for 2 hours, or you know, I practice every day, because I don't. You know, when I have an injury, I feel like, you know, my past speaks for itself. You know, when I'm banged up and I say, Coach, you know, I'm banged up, man, I can't give you nothing but 30 minutes today of shooting. You know, I can't go up and down today. You know, that should be enough, I feel, just because of the wars I've been through, the injuries I've played through, and how I come every night.
Iverson again. Unbelievable!
Do you feel as though you'll be here next year, or do you feel you'll be traded?
I'm always going to feel like that. You know, I'm always going to feel that I'll be here. You know, if the day comes that I'm not a Sixer, I thank them for everything they've done for me and the person that the city helped raise, and I go on about my life and about my profession.
Might it be better to go elsewhere and play somewhere else at this point, Alan?
It might not. You know, only God knows. You know, I always felt this was the best situation for me. You know, and at times it didn't feel like it was the best situation for me. But, you know, I had more happy times than sad times here. You know, I think I've done a lot for the city of Philadelphia as far as playing basketball here, and I think the city has done a lot for me. You know, just let me be who I am and let me showcase my talent all over the world and represent Philadelphia. So, you know, I had some good times, some bad times, but I think the good times outweigh the bad times.
Because of what is being called right knee synovitis. It's an injury that occurred on Saturday against Chicago.
Iverson with a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a Lou Alcindor throwback as he arrives at the Palace of Auburn Hills. The question standing over the crossroads of America for second game of the season. We'll find out. Top of the hour from Detroit, but there's much more ahead. Rasheed Wallace to Allen Iverson, and I'm not going to play. Iverson, our Jim Gray tells us, will be out of the lineup again as Philadelphia starts a very important road trip against Detroit. Top of the hour here on ABC. So Iverson, top scorers in the league.
Tried to practice yesterday, and Chris Ford told us about an hour ago he's just not going to be able to go. Allen told us we'll wait and see, but after trying to warm up about 30 minutes ago, he's decided too that he would be a detriment to his teammates. So the Bud Light starting lineups without Allen Iverson.
Doesn't want him to play today. He wants him to be ready for Memphis on Tuesday night. We will hear Allen Iverson's version after the first commercial. He is not happy, Brad.
All right. Memphis is the next game, and we said it's a 4-game with our Jim Gray when we come back. His team right now down by 4.
Detroit, I'm Jim Gray. The Pistons lead by 4. We're just underway here in the first quarter. Allen Iverson is missing his 4th straight game today. Allen, you came out, you warmed up, you told me you wanted to play. Why aren't you playing?
I mean, well, Coach felt that I didn't have enough conditioning, and you know, if any problems that I've had since I've been playing the game of basketball, condition was never a problem for me. But you know, that's his decision, and I gotta live with it.
Was it difficult for you to accept?
Definitely, because I want to play. You know, I want to help my teammates. It's bad enough that I've been out, you know, struggling with my knee injury. But then when I'm, you know, able to play and get out there on the basketball court and try to make some things happen, I'm not able to play. And it's a first-time thing for me, and this is something I have to deal with.
You would all understand his decision. You have 3 more games this week on the road starting in Memphis. This really is your season, so do you understand it at all?
Like I said, Jim, I never had a problem with my conditioning since I've been playing sports. And I wouldn't have had a problem with it tonight, but that's his decision. I got to live with it. You know, I'm just a soldier on this boat, and he's the captain.
You've missed 17 of the last 21 days with this team, and you did not practice well yesterday. Do you think that went into his thinking?
Who said I didn't practice well? I thought I looked good yesterday.
Coach didn't think you looked so good.
Well, that's his opinion. You know, that's his opinion. Maybe that's why I'm not playing today.
Final thought, there seems to be a difference of opinion from time to time with you and Chris Ford. How is your overall circumstance?
I mean, he's the coach, and I got to deal with that. You know, I'll play every minute, you know, like it's my last form. I do whatever he asks me to do on the basketball court, and that's that. I'm going to do what I have to do to help my teammates win basketball games. And all I'm trying to do is concentrate on making it to the playoff and not be a distraction.
Today, Brad. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, pound for pound, Brad, I don't think there's ever been a tougher guy to play in this league. I mean, at his size and his weight, the things he did and does every night, taking that ball to the glass, getting knocked down and playing with the injuries, I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to accomplish.
And people talk about how many shots a game he takes, and obviously he does, but he also averages almost 7 assists a game on top of his 27 points. So to play, his coach felt that he wasn't.
Well, again, we talked about it earlier. You know, lots of times when guys are this competitive.
Been a starter here for 8 years. I'm not a 6th man. Spurs without an injured.
Chris Ford, the coach, what the Sixers star had to say after he didn't start yesterday. In college basketball, Philadelphia, Allen Iverson and Chris Ford have clashed right from the beginning when Randy Ayers was fired and Ford came in trying to exert control. Former assistant coach there when he was promoted. If you missed it, Iverson came back last night but was relegated to the bench. Iverson then decided to sit out, and the Sixers were then outclassed by the Pistons and their former coach, Larry Brown. Now to today, Now, the classic labor versus management outburst from Allen Iverson.
It honestly is an insult to me. It is. I mean, and I would be lying to you if I said I didn't feel that way. I think it is an insult to me. As who I am as a player, who I am to this organization, who I've been to this organization, that's an insult to me. To come off the bench if I'm a starter. I'm an 8-year starter. And for me to come off the bench, I don't understand how that would help the team. How is that helping the team? I don't get that. That's not helping the team. Anybody that know basketball know that by me coming off the bench, that's not helping the team. I mean, people gonna look at it like I'm being the selfish one because I'm the villain in this whole thing all the time. Regardless of what's the situation, I know I'm going to be the villain. 100 people, 1 million people going to say that he's right, 1 million going to say he's wrong. That's just the way it is.
I made my decision yesterday, and he made his. So tomorrow's a new day. Get ready for the Grizzlies.
Is there tension involved?
I don't have any tension.
I don't know any franchise players that come off the bench. I don't know any Olympian that come off the bench. I don't know any All-Star come off the bench. I don't know any former MVP that come off the bench. I don't know any 3-time scoring champion come off the bench. I mean, I don't know any first team All-NBA come off the bench. Why Allen Iverson? Why should I come off the bench? I don't know. That's maybe something for people to think about. Don't always look at Allen Iverson being the bad guy in any situation that happened between Allen Iverson and the coach. I mean, look at the situation sometimes, you know. I mean, if you had those credentials, would you think, you know, you should come up? My whole thing is, you know, why? Like, why? I'm the starter on the team. Why wouldn't I start? I've been starting for 8 years, you know, here in Philadelphia. I mean, why wouldn't I start? I mean, I know, and a lot of people might look at it like, you know, it's a selfish thing or something like that. But, I mean, I've been playing in the playoffs, and I played in the finals, and I went through things like that for 6 years. You know, we've been a winning team for the last 6 years, and but it was never a issue about me not starting. I mean, why wouldn't I start? I mean, I'm the franchise player here. You know, I don't know any franchise players that come off the bench. I don't know any Olympian that come off the bench. I don't know any All-Star come off the bench. I don't know any former MVP that come off the bench. I don't know any 3-time scoring champion come off the bench. I mean, I don't know any first team All-NBA come off the bench. Why Allen Iverson? Why should I come off the bench? I don't know. That's maybe something for people to think about. Don't always look at Allen Iverson being the bad guy in any situation that happened between Allen Iverson and the coach. I mean, look at the situation sometimes, you know. I mean, if you had those credentials, would you think, you know, you should come off the bench? You were a coach, and you had a player that you weren't seeing eye to eye with. Wouldn't you call him in to talk to him? Or should I have to do it? I mean, should the player have to do it? If you're a coach and you're not seeing eye to eye with a player, you think the player should come to you, or you should go to the player? If you're the coach.
After the Sixers fired Randy Ayers in February, Iverson was miffed because he wasn't consulted beforehand.
As far as him being fired, so I get a bad feeling about that, but you know what makes me feel even worse is just not knowing it was going to happen.
And when Iverson missed Philly's first post-All-Star practice in Denver on February 16th, new coach Chris Ford benched him.
So Allen Iverson not in the lineup.
I don't have any problem playing with Chris Ford. No problem at all. I don't have no problem at all. I can go out there and do the same thing I did for Coach Brown, for Coach Ford.
But on Sunday, Ford sat Iverson after AI failed to tell the team during its morning breakfast meeting that his injured right knee and shoulder had improved enough for him to start. It was the latest communication breakdown between a team looking to make the playoffs and a superstar looking over his shoulder.
The steal by Iverson, posting in! He wins it! He won the game! He won
Scoring champion, league MVP. You had all of this stuff in your background, on your resume. Yet last year may have been the most difficult year of your professional career. Tell me what last season, the 2003-2004 season was like for you.
I felt at a point like people were questioning my character and people were questioning my heart. this is the guy that played, you know, that go to war regardless of how he's feeling, what's going on in his life. You know, I put it down for 48 minutes, and people were questioning that, and it really bothered me. And I felt like the coach that we had last year contributed to a lot of that, started a lot of that.
You're talking about Chris Ford.
Yeah.
You had a game in Detroit, you were injured, you sat out, and then you didn't practice that morning, or you didn't show up to shoot around.
No, it wasn't that I didn't show up. It's just that I hadn't practiced.
Right, you hadn't practiced, but you were ready to play the next day, and he said you couldn't play.
I went out that day. I went out and I put on my uniform in front of everybody, went out there, got ready for the game. I came back in. Then he told me, you know, he don't think I was, you know, in the right condition to play. And then he said, well, you can play, but you got to come off the bench. So automatically I'm thinking, all right, this guy just seeing what I'll do, you know, to try to make this situation better without him giving in, without him giving up to the quote unquote bad guy. I can't give in to this guy. There's got to be some type of punishment to go along with this. Why am I being punished for being hurt and coming back and wanting to play? I didn't understand that, and from that point, then that was a problem. It was always a problem for me.
One little kid say, Allen Iverson, I love you, and listen to any advice. I did something, man. I did something. I accomplished something on this earth.